Don't make your life so complicated that it's impossible to get things done. When we overcomplicate things, number one, it can be hard to do all the things. Number two, we often end up overthinking because we start feeling overwhelmed. We end up procrastinating. And number three, we don't have enough energy for the tough stuff. When shit goes down, we need to have the energy and the mental bandwidth to handle it. But when our lives are so complicated and so full and we're trying to optimize every little part of our day, it can be difficult, very challenging to deal with unexpected stressors when they come up, right? So I try to keep my routine as simple as possible, and I haven't always done so. I'm focusing on this more and more now in my life, trying to keep things super simple. I don't optimize anything. I'm not concerned about optimizing. I have wasted countless hours, days, months, years, whatever, millennia, trying to optimize every part of my day, trying to figure out the perfect fitness routine, the best diet, the best sleep routine, all the rest of it. What ends up happening is I don't stick with anything because I start overthinking it. I make it so complicated that I don't get it done. I don't get it done. I put it off. It's too much. It's too big. It's too overwhelming. And when shit goes down, when unexpected stressors come up, as is normal in life, I have nothing left over to handle that, right? So I keep everything simple. I do pretty much the same thing every day, more or less. There's some variation, but I know what I'm going to do every day. My fitness routine, my diet, my sleep routine, it's all very, very simple. And I have as much fluff removed from that as possible. So like my sleep routine, I brush my teeth, turn off the lights, go to bed. That's it. I have a blackout blind. I don't keep my phone in my room. I don't use my phone in my room. I don't read in my room. Nothing. When it's time to go to bed, lights out, I go to bed. It's very simple. I don't spend an hour or 2 hours optimizing my sleep routine, making it perfect, slowly dimming the lights, slowly doing this, writing in my journal so I can release all and not that there's anything wrong with any of that, but I prefer to make things as simple as possible so I can just get it done. I look at it like this. If there's a problem that needs to be solved, I solve it and then I move on. And once the problem is solved, there's no point dwelling on the problem anymore. So if my problem is that I need better sleep or more sleep, I solve that problem. And then when it's done, I don't have to worry anymore. So okay, what was interfering with my sleep? Maybe it wasn't dark enough. Maybe it wasn't cool enough in my bedroom. Maybe I, had my phone in my room. I used to keep my phone in my bedroom. I can't sleep when my phone is in my room. Even with it being on Do Not Disturb, just having it in my room, my sleep is shit. Got rid of that, got it out of my room. My sleep improved. Quit caffeine, my sleep improved even more, right? So I solved the problem and then I stopped focusing on it. I stopped worrying about my sleep. I stopped doing research on sleep. I stopped reading books about sleep. Okay, sometimes when we try to optimize everything, we can end up spending so much time researching, reading about it, thinking about it, watching videos on it, right? You try and come up with the perfect exercise routine. When you find a good exercise routine that works for you, just stick with it. You don't need to keep watching fitness videos and keep reading books and articles. You don't need to keep researching. You don't need to keep planning and thinking and analyzing. You can just let it go. So I solve the problem and then I move on. Figure out a diet that works for you, then you can just eat that way and stop thinking about it. You don't need to keep researching the best diet or keep reading up on this stuff or watching videos on this stuff or analyzing your diet or tracking. If you don't have to track, you don't have to do all those things. If it works for you, that's fine. I'm not knocking any particular thing here, okay? But what I find for me is the more stuff I add to any particular task, the more research, the more reading about it, the more tracking, the more planning, the more complicated it gets, the less likely I am to do the thing. And then all of that stuff around it becomes problematic for me. It leads to overthinking, it leads to overwhelm. And then when other stuff comes up in my life, I've got nothing left over. Nothing left over. So keep it as simple as possible. Keep your routine as simple as possible. Your workouts, your sleep, everything as simple as possible. If there's a problem to solve, solve it and then move on. You don't need to keep thinking about it, okay? Another thing is, physical clutter and physical stuff going on in our life can lead to mental clutter. So I like to keep things as simple in my home as possible, do things right the first time, put things away, have a place for everything. Just keep it tidy, and that helps with mental clarity. And when we have mental clarity, it's so much easier to handle the big stressors, right? And it's so much easier just to get shit done. That's how we can get out of our head and get shit done. So that's my advice for today. I'm going to talk more about overthinking because it's a huge problem. It's been a huge problem for me for much of my life. And I think I've finally gotten to a place where I don't overthink very often anymore. It's great. It's great. So I'm going to talk more about that stuff tomorrow. So yeah, keep it simple so you can get it done, so you don't overthink it, so you have energy for the tough stuff. So that's it for today. Slap, slap, and maybe a foot. I'm always going to take off the slippers, okay? And I will be back tomorrow, hopefully, unless shit goes down. Who knows? You never know. My cat has gained about 0.5 pound since the end of last week. I'm very excited because for fatty liver, which those of you who know, my cat has fatty liver, they need to gain weight to resolve it, right? She's gained 0.5 pound. Yay! She still won't take her liver pills. She still won't. She's still fighting me. Look at I got scratches and I got a scratch on my chest. And yeah, it's been a madhouse here. It's a madhouse. But hey, I keep my routine as simple as possible so I can handle this shit when it comes up. Yeah, all right, that's it. I will see you tomorrow. Happy Monday. Have a good day.